The music stops, the lights go down. And just like that, the voice behind the biggest party anthem of a generation just vanishes.
And the most chilling part, nobody even notices for over a month.
Welcome to StarScope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals.
From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And today's deep dive is centered around a massive, heartbreaking headline. New questions emerge after Lauren Bennett's sudden death.
Yeah, this is one of those stories that just stops you in your tracks.
It really does. I mean, if you don't instantly recognize her name, you absolutely know her voice. She was the powerhouse vocalist behind LMFAO's Party Rock Anthem.
Which is, frankly, one of the most successful songs in the history of music. Ubiquitous.
Right, exactly. You go to a wedding, a club, a graduation party, the DJ hits play, and the room just explodes.
Yeah, we treat those pop anthems like they exist in a vacuum, completely detached from the actual fragile human beings who recorded them.
Exactly. We assume they're immortal because the song is. But Lauren passed away suddenly at just 36 years old.
And we're not just doing a retrospective of her career today. We are looking at a stack of recent sources, The Independent, BBC, E! News, Billboard, to untangle this.
Because the timeline of her passing is highly unusual, and we need to separate the internet speculation from the facts of this ongoing coroner's investigation.
Not to mention her father's really startling claims against the UK's medical system.
Oh, absolutely. So if you're loving these Hollywood twists and want to understand the real stories, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
Let's get right into that timeline, though, because before we look at what happened, we have to talk about how the world found out.
Yeah, the timeline itself almost defies belief in this modern era of instant celebrity news.
Right. So, looking at the international reports, they all point back to the same exact date, which is May 29th, 2026.
Okay.
Lauren died at a residence in Meopham. It's this quiet village in Kent, roughly an hour outside of London.
And Kent police responded around 2 p.m. that Friday, right? For what they classified as a welfare concern.
Exactly. And she was pronounced dead at the scene.
Yeah.
But from that moment on May 29th, the media ecosystem just went entirely dark.
I really struggle to wrap my head around that. I mean, a 5-week gap.
Yeah, it wasn't until over a month later, July 6th, that the public had any idea she was actually gone.
Which is just wild to me. Her former G.R.L. bandmates, Emmeline Estrada, Natasha Slayton, and Paula Van Open, they posted a joint tribute on Instagram to their sweet Lauren.
And that tribute was basically the match that lit the powder keg.
Right, because we live in a world where gossip blogs will usually send a push notification to your phone before the ambulance is even backed out of a celebrity's driveway.
Oh, 100%.
So I think of it as this, like, reverse echo. In a world where TMZ reports things in minutes, 5 weeks of total silence from the press feels louder and more jarring than the noise itself.
It really does. But the answer to how it stayed quiet actually lies in police procedure.
Really? How so?
Well, the media relies on tripwires, right? They monitor police scanners, they watch for sensational reports. But Kent police immediately stated they were not treating the deaths as suspicious.
Ah, okay. Meaning there was no crime scene tape, no homicide detectives knocking on doors.
Precisely. A non-suspicious death on private property doesn't generate a flashy press release. It just gets logged as a private medical event.
So because the police treated it as a private family matter, it remained a private family matter.
Right up until her loved ones were finally ready to begin mourning publicly in July.
But the unintended consequence of that privacy is that the second the news broke, that month-long vacuum of information acted like oxygen to a fire.
Oh, absolutely. The internet immediately filled that void with really intense, invasive speculation.
Which brings us to the current situation, the official coroner's investigation.
And we really need to define what investigation means here, because the word itself carries a lot of misleading baggage online.
Yeah, you hear official investigation lasting until October, and your mind immediately jumps to true crime scenarios, right? Like foul play.
Exactly. People assume there's a cover-up.
So the reports state the Kent and Medway Coroner Service launched this on June 12th, and the formal inquest concludes October 30th, 2026. Is this actually sinister, or is it just UK bureaucracy moving at a glacial pace?
It is entirely the bureaucracy. Understanding the English and Welsh coronial system clears this up completely.
Okay, walk us through it.
So in the UK, a case goes to a coroner automatically if a person dies suddenly and doctors can't immediately determine the exact medical cause.
So they classify it as an unascertained cause of death.
Right. It doesn't mean they suspect murder. It just means the visual assessment wasn't enough to sign a definitive death certificate.
I see. So it's less about a detective looking for a weapon and more about a pathologist in a lab looking at cell samples.
That is the exact distinction. They have to gather comprehensive toxicology reports, run pathology exams, pull long-term medical records.
And in a heavily burdened public system, getting those records and running specialized lab tests takes months, not days.
Exactly. So that October date isn't some dramatic reveal. It's just a realistic timeline for science.
But wait till you hear what came next. Because while the scientists are working, the internet rumors grew so loud, they forced Lauren's family to step forward.
And this is the major pivot point of the whole deep dive.
Yeah, her father, Richard Bennett, released a statement via Rock Anthem, the Pussycat Dolls founder and Lauren's former mentor.
And his statement just completely shattered the narrative people were building online.
We went from a mysterious passing to a glaring spotlight on a potential systemic medical failure.
Right, because he praised her immense talent. I mean, she started performing at 12 years old, but then he dropped this massive revelation.
He disclosed that months before her death, Lauren suffered a severe reaction to a prescribed medication.
And he was very deliberate with his words. He explicitly stated the family has no suspicions regarding the circumstances of her death.
Yeah, he shut down the true crime speculators instantly. But then he expressed this profound, deep disappointment.
Right. He stated that for 5 months, medical professionals and the NHS, the National Health Service in the UK, failed to treat her appropriately.
During her time of greatest need, I mean, it's like the internet was busy looking for a burglar breaking through the window, but the real threat was the faulty wiring inside the house all along.
That is a terrifying outie, but it fits perfectly.
It's just this tragic irony. You have someone actively seeking help for 5 months, trying to navigate a massive health system, and still falling through the cracks.
To publicly call out a national health system while you're grieving your child, that shows how deeply frustrated the family must feel.
And this connects directly back to the coroner's inquest scheduled for October, right?
Like it does. Because the coroner doesn't just determine the biological cause of death, they establish the circumstances surrounding it.
So they'll be scrutinizing the NHS's handling of her case over those 5 months?
Exactly. What the medication was, what the protocols were, and whether a systemic failure contributed to her death.
And that's not even the wildest part. Later in this deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming regarding her own past trauma.
Yeah, it really reframes everything.
So stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next, because this next part is heartbreaking.
It really is. Because a young star dying at 36 is devastating enough, but for Lauren, it's an agonizing echo of her own past.
Yeah, her journey in the music industry was massive. She joined the Paradiso Girls in 2007. They had that hit Patron Tequila.
She was featured on CeeLo Green's album in 2010. She was really grinding for years.
And then 2011 happened. Rock Anthem. Billboard later named it their 5th most successful song of all time.
Over 2 billion views on YouTube. It was a global cultural phenomenon.
But the pivotal emotional moment in her career came in 2013 when she joined G.R.L.
Right, they had international hits like Vacation, Ugly Heart, Wild Wild Love with Pitbull. They were at the absolute peak of the pop star experience.
Until September of 2014, when the unthinkable happened. Her bandmate, Simone Battle, died by suicide at just 25 years old.
It is hard to even fathom the psychological impact of that.
You're traveling the world with a tight-knit group of women who become your family, and suddenly one is gone in the most tragic way possible. It shattered the group.
But what stands out is how Lauren responded. She didn't just walk away, she channeled it.
She became a fiercely dedicated advocate for mental health. G.R.L. released that raw tribute single, Lighthouse.
And later, Lauren released a solo track called Hurricane, openly about navigating dark periods and mental health struggles.
It feels like she spent the last decade trying to heal from the sudden loss of a bandmate and advocating for health.
Only to be failed by the health system herself when she was the one in crisis.
It's just a bitter, bitter irony.
Yeah.
How much did that past trauma shape her private world?
Well, we view pop groups as manufactured, right? But these are real people processing immense grief under a global spotlight.
Carrying survivor's guilt while trying to maintain a public persona, it takes a massive toll.
Her final Instagram post in February 2026 was just her singing a simple cover. Her life recently seemed entirely focused on private healing.
Knowing that intense public spotlight she survived, the way her loved ones chose to say goodbye feels incredibly poignant and deliberate.
It was. According to reports, a private memorial was held in London with family, friends, and former bandmates from G.R.L. and Paradiso Girls.
There was no massive public spectacle. Guests just wrote personal messages on balloons before releasing them into the sky.
And a display read, celebrating the life of Lauren Bennett, forever loved, forever with us.
I really want you to consider this contrast. The woman who lent her voice to the ultimate public party anthem had the most fiercely private, intimate farewell imaginable.
It emphasizes the difference between the public's consumption of tragedy and actual private grief.
Right, because fans online are demanding answers, treating this like a true crime puzzle.
But she is survived by her 6-year-old daughter, Harlow, whom she shared with Candy Wormold.
For that little girl and for her father, Richard, this isn't a mystery. It's just a profound, devastating personal loss.
Exactly. They aren't looking for a sensational story. They are mourning a mother and a daughter.
We've explored this intense dual narrative today. A beloved pop star whose voice defines celebration, and a tragic medical mystery highlighting systemic failures.
It reminds us that behind every viral news story is a real family waiting for answers.
We consume pop anthems as timeless, frozen moments of joy, completely detached from reality.
But the next time you hear Party Rock Anthem playing, think about the fragile human lives behind those upbeat voices.
It really makes you wonder, how much do we truly owe to the artists who provide the soundtrack to our happiest memories when they're the ones quietly crying out for help?
That's something that will stick with me for a long time.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.